If you're seeing this video, I probably don't work in the OR anymore. Oh, the little turkey with her babies. I never see Turkey anymore. Where's she been? Getting knocked up. Don't let nobody eat your babies, girl. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Leanne. I am a registered nurse. I just graduated in December of 2024, passed my NCLEX in January of 2025, and I have been working in the operating room for the past 4 months, almost 5 months. So yeah, this is gonna be a weekly vlog, maybe, not really sure. I don't know. If you're seeing this video, I probably don't work in the OR anymore because we're going on an interview. Yeah. It's Friday. It's 11:50. I have an interview at 12:30 and then a shadow immediately after the interview. And this is for a cardiac progressive care unit. So yeah, I have a few reasons why I'm contemplating leaving the operating room. Some of the big things are just like the schedule and the commitment outside of like your regular work schedule, like having to do on call. It's just not something that is gonna really work for me because I live further away. And for on call, you have to be dressed and ready to go, like ready to have your patient, get your patient and everything, like within 30 minutes of getting the on call. Which means for me to like be able to make it on time, I would have to stay at one of my parents' house overnight once a week. Like for the 2 service lines that I actually like and enjoy, they literally have the worst on-call commitments. You have to be on call once a week, and then I think your weekend call is like once every 5 weeks, which is not that bad. But the weekend call goes from like the Friday that you get done working all the way up until like 7 a.m. Sunday or something like that. Just too much for somebody who will have to stay at somebody else's house. And I have kids, I have a fiance, I have a family, I have commitments and things that I want to do outside of work that I don't like being on call. So yeah, that's one thing. The other thing is again, I live far, and for our schedules, they really want you to work either like 5/8 or 4/10s. I don't want to have to drive back and forth 5 to 4 times a week. I don't want to have to do that. And then also we have to scrub, and I did my scrub class and I did my 2 weeks of training for scrubbing. Absolutely hate it. I hate it. So yeah, those are just a few of the things that are just like making me, you know, think about maybe pivoting a little bit. And then also the schedule that I signed up for is like a mid-shift schedule. So I would be starting work anywhere between 9 a.m. or 11 a.m. and then getting finished with work anywhere between 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. which is not that bad. The only issue is that, again, I will have to be working 4 to 5 days a week. So like when my bonus son has his baseball games and stuff like that, I wouldn't be able to go to any of his baseball games during the week unless I just so happen to only work 4 days a week and, you know, I take that day off or end up getting that day off or whatever. So it's just a lot of things, like I said, schedule wise, that just don't really work. Like, it doesn't provide a good work-life balance for me. I know a lot of people say that working in the operating room is like soft nursing and it has a good work-life balance. I think that only is true if you work in like an outpatient and not in a hospital. So I don't work in like an outpatient surgery center. I work in a hospital, so we do have to work weekends. We do still have to work holidays. Now obviously it's not like fully staffed on the weekends and on the holidays, but like, you know, you still have to work weekends and holidays. So yeah, for me, it's just not really shaping up to give that like work-life balance that I would have hoped it would give, or like how it does for some people. And again, it might be a little easier for people who actually live closer to their facility or whatever, to their work, but I don't. I live about 45 minutes away, and that's on a good day, like with no traffic. So if there is traffic, if there's even a tiniest little bit of rain or anything, you know, that's adding time onto my commute. So yeah, like I said, it's just schedule wise not ideal for me. And I was telling my mom a little while ago how, like, you know, one of the things I was excited about when I, you know, became a nurse was the fact that I would have those extra days off that I could, you know, be a mom and spend time with my family and with my kids and stuff. And I really don't get that, especially right now, because I'm working Monday through Friday, 6:45. What are you waiting for? Oh, 6:45 to 3:15. And again, I have to drive 45 minutes to an hour to get home. So by the time I get home, it's already, you know, 4:30. I have to be up at 5 a.m. So I'm going to bed by like 9:30. So I literally have about 4 hours of my evening, Monday through Friday, to like, you know, spend time with family and do things. And it's like, you know, the last hour, y'all need to start using y'all's blinkers. The last hour, you know, you want to wind down and stuff like that. So it just hasn't been ideal. And then on the weekends, it's like, okay, you get 2 days off, but I'm trying to scramble and do everything I have to do on the weekends because I don't have time to do it during the week, you know? So it's just not like I said, it's just not shaping up to be convenient for me and how I like to live my life and what I want to do, and, you know, my kids' activities and stuff like that. Like, it's just no. So yeah, we're gonna go on this interview and hopefully it goes well. It is a night shift position, which I don't know, like, I'm not 100% thrilled about it, but also it's like, I feel like days has its pros and cons as well as nights. I know everybody say like working nights is much more chill because you don't have like providers in and out, the family's not there, you know, it's just like less people, management's not there, so it's more chill. So, you know, that's a pro, but then also like your sleep schedule is going to be thrown off, so that's a con. There's going to be pros and cons with every position and with every schedule. So I think I'm just in that phase of still trying to figure out like what works best for me as a new nurse. Yeah, like what I like, what I want to do, and what schedule works best for me. And also I think one of the things that kind of has been getting to me is the fact that in the operating room, you know, you're not really learning or using a lot of the skills that you learned in nursing school. Hold on. And you also just don't have that like patient care and that critical thinking. Like, it's just, we're not doing that really. So I don't know, we're gonna go on this interview, we'll see how it goes. I'm not throwing all of my eggs into one basket. If it goes well, it goes well. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's no harm, no foul, because at the end of the day, I still have a job. So we'll go on the interview. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if we like the unit. And yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, guys, so as you can see from the title of this video and the previous clips, I was contemplating leaving the operating room and going to a floor position. I did have an interview for a cardiac progressive care unit. It's also like a mix between cardiac progressive care and intermediate care. The interview went well, the shadow went well, the people that I was talking to were really nice. You know, and I did ask them about like if they felt like it was like the people I was shadowing with, I did ask them if they felt like this was a good unit for you know, a new nurse to like really learn and to grow. And the woman who I was with, she actually had just came from the night shift, and she was like, you know, the unit can be very challenging. She was like, but the night shift crew are always helping each other. Like, it's a really good crew of people, and if you are up for a challenge, then it is definitely going to be a good unit for you to learn and to grow, which I thought was really good, because that's really what I'm looking for. So I guess I'll go ahead and just catch y'all up like with a little life update. One, I did get offered the position on the cardiac progressive care / intermediate care floor, working nights, working 312s, and I did accept the position. I start in a few weeks, and I did already put in my resignation in the operating room. So there's just a few things that kind of like pushed me to like really, you know, go ahead and just put in my resignation and to move forward with working on the floor. I know I mentioned a little bit of things previously in the video when I was heading to the interview, but some of the main reasons that really are contributing to me wanting to leave the operating room is, for one, this schedule. It's my dog back there. But yeah, for one, the schedule is just not really conducive for me and my family and the things that we do and what I like to do and how I like to live my life. The schedule is just not going to work for me. So at the end of like our first phase of orientation in the operating room, we have like a meeting with all of the educators and all of the managers of each service line, and we pretty much just discuss like how orientation went, what did we like, what didn't we like, what service line would we like to be on, and what hours we want to work, like what schedule we want. So I had that meeting, and it went fine. It went as fine as any meeting like that can go. But then the next day I was brought in to like go over everything, and I pretty much was, you know, given the option to work 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. So working 4/10s, and that's just not gonna work for me for a few reasons. Yeah, just for a few reasons. I already have. What is that? It don't really matter. But yeah, so basically the schedule that they were giving me is just not gonna work. So working 1 to 11, I just feel like, for one, I would need extra childcare, because I'm just not gonna have the childcare for someone to be watching my son and someone to be, you know, picking up bonus son 4 days a week while we're both at work. And then getting off at 11, I wouldn't be getting home until 12 a.m. 4 nights a week, which means I'm not seeing my family. The only person I would see would be the baby, because I would have to keep him until I took him to wherever he would have been going for childcare. But I wouldn't see my fiance, I wouldn't see my bonus son, because by the time I would get up to get my day started, they will already be gone. By the time I get home, they're asleep. So like, for somebody who has a family and likes their family and wants to spend time with their family, that schedule is just not gonna work. It's not conducive for family life at all. So yeah, childcare and the schedule that I was given were really the two determining factors for me deciding to put in my resignation and to leave the operating room and move forward with this position on the floor. Look, I know everybody says so much about working on the floor. Everybody wants like soft nursing and all of that. But like, as a new grad nurse, I do feel like there is something to be said about working on the floor and building those, you know, traditional foundation nursing skills, you know, that you get working on the floor. You're not gonna really get that working in the operating room. There's so many skills that we don't get to do. There's very limited patient interaction. It's just a completely different side of nursing. And I do think there is something that's beneficial about having experience working on the floor. especially as a new grad nurse. So as terrified as I am of being on the floor, which is kind of why I didn't want to start on the floor to begin with, was because I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I was scared. I'm still a little scared, but I think working in the operating room and at least, you know, having more patient interaction and doing things as a nurse, I have like a little more confidence than I did when I first graduated. So yeah, like if we're being all the way real raw and honest, that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to start on the floor, is because I was scared. Okay, I was scared. And like I said, I'm still a little scared, but I feel like I have like a little bit more confidence. I have a little more you know, tools in my belt as a nurse to like bring into this transition from being in an operating room to being on the floor. But I am excited to like really grow those foundational skills as a nurse and to really grow as a nurse overall. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a new part of my nursing journey, and I guess that's just one of the things, like with being a nurse, is really trying to find what works best for you, what you like, what you don't like. So, you know, I guess it's just par for the course. Like, and the only way to do that is to move around and experiment with, you know, different units, different hospitals, whatever. So yeah, I'm excited for this journey. Of course, I'm going to bring you guys along. I will keep you in the loop of how I'm feeling, how it's going. Being positive, I'm going to put my best foot forward. I do think that like it's a good stepping stone, because if you know, you know, your girl wants to do labor and delivery, and I've kind of broadened my like spectrum of what I want to do in terms of like my end goal. Like I'm thinking labor and delivery, postpartum, NICU, like any of those three, maybe even pediatrics. I just think I have like my heart pulls for like mothers, newborn, and kids. So that's why I'm like the whole spectrum: peds, NICU, L&D, postpartum. I'm keeping my options open on those fronts. So I think once I get into this new floor position and really start to like build my confidence, build my skills, and build that critical thinking and that time management that you need as a nurse, and I'm there for like a year, year and a half, 2 years, and I feel like a little more confident, then I'll start to like transition and try to look for different positions within this hospital system, you know, in one of those 4 units that I just talked about. So I just wanted to give you guys just like a little life update, just to let you know what's going on. So yes, I have left the operating room. I am going to be working on the floor here soon, and yeah, it's just another part of my nursing journey. So yeah, wish me luck, okay? Because I'm, like I said, I'm scared. But yeah, I'm scared, I'm nervous, but again, I'm being positive, and I know it's gonna work out exactly how it needs to, because God is not gonna fail me. He has never failed me this far, and he's not gonna fail me moving forward. So I know it's gonna be okay. I know I'm gonna be okay. I know it's gonna work out, and I know it's gonna be exactly what I need it to be. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a like and a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you guys can, you know, keep up with me and see how this transition from the operating room to work on the floor goes. Okay, so I'll see you guys. Look at my son. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.